Hey there wargamers, this is Justin from Amp Services with this week's Tactical Tuesday video. Now I know it's been a while, I haven't done too many videos, but I've had to focus my time on things that generate income, which is painting. So unfortunately right now when I do a video, it's technically from painting time, so I have to do painting first and do the videos when I get time. Additionally, I tried to not do 40K videos with models that aren't finished. I'm breaking that rule today. Today is going to be the first in my Warhammer 40K heresy. I'm breaking away from that because I want to do videos. I want to talk with you guys about what I'm doing. And I can't always do that with painted models because I don't always have the time to finish my stuff quickly. I paint a lot slower than I do when I'm working on commissions, because there's a different degree of quality. You know, if I'm getting paid to paint maximum quality on a miniature, it takes me a while. When I'm working on my own minis, I pretty much put a huge amount of effort into them, well beyond tabletop quality. So, with that being said, in today's video, we're going to be talking about forging the narrative. I may have talked about this before, especially if any of you guys have listened to my videos or talked to me in person. You will know that my belief for 40K is it's not straight up, it's not just a competitive game here. It's a social game, it's a social contract when you agree to play with someone, so everyone should be having fun. And part of immersing yourself in the game is forging the narrative. And that sounds very cliche, but one of the ways that I like to do that is through modeling. And you know, I've talked about this before, but I'm working on some Ultramarines right now for myself, and I found that I love the lore for Warhammer 40K. I don't necessarily like some of the gameplay rules. Now, if you guys out there are super competitive, you want to call me a fluff bunny or whatnot, that's fine. But I think there's more to the game than just winning and losing. You know, obviously when you set up your list, you're playing to win. And rightfully so. It's like playing a board game. You play Monopoly, you play to win. You play, chess, checkers, Risk, Stratego, whatever it is that you're playing to win. But in board games, generally things are relatively balanced, and some of the games of chance affect the outcome, especially like Monopoly and things like that. With Warhammer 40K, I have found that a lot of the armies have balance issues. So you have to spend a lot of time negotiating with your opponents. What's going to be fun for me to use? What's going to be fun for you to use? What can we actually both play that's going to yield a fun gaming experience for both of us where we both have a chance at winning? So once you have established, if that's the type of gameplay you're dealing with, once you have found someone to play with and found, the army's going to play in the restrictions, the next step is having your painted armies and putting them on the battlefield and immersing yourself in your opponent. The next step for me is, especially given what I just spoke about, the rules may not necessarily be always in your favor. What is in your favor is the detail you put into your models and the thought, the narrative. So if your army is slightly subpar, Space Marines aren't really near the bottom of the totem pole right now. Chaos Space Marines are pretty low. But if you put the extra effort into modeling your models and really putting in that time to create characters and think about them and almost have a story in your mind, the winning and losing aspect it kind of takes a sideline. It's still important when you're playing, but it becomes more of an interactive story, so to speak. So if both you and your opponent have that philosophy, the games are more fun, more immersive. So one of the ways that I like to do that is, again, through modeling, which we've talked about before. I like to mix and match, especially with Space Marines. It's so easy to do this because all their kits pretty much line up, especially for Tactical Marines. But I like to mix and match bits. So I'm working on 20 Tactical Marines to update my Ultramarines. I've been complaining quite a bit lately. If you were local, you would have been here for some of my rants. Against some of the current armies, in particular, I've been dealing with Necrons. I don't particularly want to play against Eldar and things like that. I've had issues. My Ultramarines were built for 5th edition gameplay, so I have a lot of Flamers and Meltas, because back then the polar extremes were parking lots, which you needed Meltas to deal with, and hordes, because assaults were actually really effective back then, so you wanted to use your flamethrowers to thin out hordes. Now that doesn't always hold true. You don't see quite as many parking lots across the board. You do sometimes, but not as big of a deal. So the Meltas aren't as effective. I found that my all-comers list from 5th edition, with minor additions here and there, has not been as competitive and forgiving with some of the newer codices. So I've complained a little bit on Facebook, got some feedback, and one of the local guys said, really told me, and I was so against this. I was really against upgrading my army to having grav. But he said, from all the stuff I'm reading online, grav weapons are really where Space Marines shine. It's one of their catch-alls. So I went out and I bought I bought 2 Tactical Marine boxes. I bought an Assault Marine box and Devastator box, with the intent of taking what would now be 30 miniatures and making 20 out of those is what I was trying to do. But I was able to mix and match bits. So with my Tactical Marine squads, I was able to incorporate a grav cannon and a grav gun in each squad. And because I had extra legs and stuff, I was able to make these cool poses. Now, obviously, I only have 7 in front of me here. The Emperor doesn't teach his Marines how to count, he teaches them how to shoot guns. So I only have 7 here, so you won't see all of them, but I'll be able to show you kind of what I was going with mixing and matching the bits. So I've been ranting a little bit, holding this guy and spinning him around. Let's kind of discuss what's going on. So he has a normal bolt gun, normal Space Marine torso, and a normal, the normal helmet. But he is using Assault Marine legs and part of the Assault Marine basing. So the thought with this guy, he doesn't have a name. I don't name all of them, but I always think of stories. It's like maybe he's walking downstairs, he's walking through something. I wanted to give the illusion of movement. So when you're playing a game, this guy, he stands out, just like some of the other guys, which when they're all together, they may not all stand out individually, but as a unit, they look uniform, they look fluid, and that's what I go for. I want to mix and match and create something cool. So tying this in with forging the narrative, if I'm playing a game, at least I know at the start my Marine's going to look cool. It's going to look like a little movie or a little story. It's not static. It's a very dynamic looking game. So even if I lose the game, I know that I contributed in having a story. Maybe it was a tactical retreat, or crushing defeat, or a near miss, a near hit. Almost won, almost lost, things like that. So this is that extra element, that extra step. If I was playing, and I'm going to pick on you Eldar players, you know who you are if you do this. The guys who go out and they buy 3 Wraith Knights, they prime them black, they paint 1 knee pad on each one white, and they paint a couple of gems, and then they base them, and they say they're done. Those guys. That's not forging the narrative, not at all. And I'm not trying to be pompous or condescending, but that you've literally taken one of the best units in the game, put the minimum amount of effort to put it on the table. That's not fun. And I'm not going to disparage your painting capabilities. If you put forth the effort, I will never, me personally, I will never belittle you. I won't even belittle you even if you did put effort. I'll complain about it later. But if you aren't the best painter, but you try and you really want to make cool looking models, we have more power to you. I mean, I love it. I want to see it. If you want to learn to paint, talk to people. That's what I like. But again, with the forging the narrative, there's a difference between taking your time, customizing your models, even if like this is a Space Marine, I roll a 1 or 2, he's going down. I'm going to spend more time painting him and modeling him than I am actually getting effective gameplay use out of this guy. But, I have forged that story. This guy is unique to me. This is clearly not sprayed with a primer and 1 shoulder pad painted and called it good. It's not like that. And again, I don't want this to sound pompous or condescending because it's not the intent. You may be a new painter, you're getting into it, you aspire to do something. The point is effort. If you are modeling your models and painting your models in such a way that you only want to win, you're missing out on a huge aspect of the hobby. And that's the whole point I'm getting here, is forging the narrative. When you are approaching your models and you are building them and basing them, painting them, whether you're good, you're mediocre, you're learning, put that effort into it and think about it. Enjoy that aspect of the game. The winning and losing will come afterwards. Make sure that the winning and losing is not the only aspect of fun. For some people, the winning and losing is their only source of fun. But this game has many facets. It's a social game. You're hanging out with people. You should be able to be social and have fun with them. You're modeling and painting. So, the modeling aspect is creating cool poses. The painting aspect is bringing those poses to life. Whether you're good, you're bad, you're learning, effort. Effort is the key word here. And the posing stuff is the easiest part. Especially with Space Marines, you can mix and match all the bits. They're all at your disposal. This is your, to quote Bob Ross here, this is your little world. You don't make mistakes. We have happy little accidents. So I enjoy this. Some people may not, but I think the people who have the most fun with 40K are the ones that, they play to win. You know, they don't want to lose, but they don't build their armies in such a way that winning is the only aspect of it. And that's the point, again, of this video. And it's just kind of showing you guys what I'm working on and telling you why I do what I do. You know, I built these new Marines with the idea of updating my army, but I'm putting the extra effort in here so that they look cool on the table. You know, if I deep strike these guys in, they do nothing, if that's what happens, they turn around and die, I could say, "For the Emperor, my sergeant looks really cool." And as you can see in this one, this bit right here, this combi grav gun, this is from a Devastator box. That shoulder pad is. I don't remember where that bit's from, but it looks cool. The legs are from the Devastator box. You know, I don't know where the head's from. But you can see, like, I've used 2 or 3 different kits on this guy here to make him look cool. And I even went one step further, like, this is his helmet. It's got a red helmet. The lenses aren't, these obviously aren't done. Lenses aren't done. I tried to do the laurels, do the white stripe, make him look like a veteran sergeant. Now, again, I don't want to catch too much flack here, because yes, I'm showing off some models and painting, but I'm not trying to be, again, pompous or condescending. You know, if you're new to painting and you see something and you don't think you can do it, I'm not going to disparage you. You try what you can try, put forth the effort. If for some reason you're some random person and you ever line up on the other side of the table from me and we have a discussion about the effort you put into your models, I don't care how good they look. I hope they look good. I hope that you know, you've got something you're proud of. But if you've done the best you can do and put that effort, that's all that matters. I will never ever say your models suck. That will never come out of my mouth, because it's the effort. Everyone's got their degree of skill with painting, and it's a practicing thing, and it takes time. You learn, and I'm not the best. I mean, I haven't really done a video talking about my favorite painters, but I'm gonna give a big shout out to Lester Bursley from Awesome Paint Job. That's my favorite guy. Cool looking voice. He's got a huge channel too. I mean, mine's kind of a fledgling channel, but he's got a cool channel if you are ever interested in seeing somebody who can paint. I mean, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd put myself probably like maybe a 6 or 7. On a scale of 1 to 10, his models would be like a 12. The guy is, I want to use some profanity here, I won't, but he's freaking awesome. He's something else. And that's one of those guys, like, when I started, I looked at him and I was like, I'm never going to be that good. Never going to be that good. And I'm still not as good as him, but I aspire to be that. And I try and paint cool looking dudes and make cool looking poses because I want to forge that narrative. I want, when I sit down across from my opponent, you know, I want him to be like, wow, those look cool. We're about to throw some dice and this is going to be an epic battle. I don't want it to be the stereotypical, like, well, I primed my army black, you primed your army blue, we didn't base. Now our green and blue, our black and blue armies are going to fight. That's, you know, as you're learning, like I've practiced with these and they're still in various states of paint. I've practiced with them and that's fine, but the end game is to have something cool. You know, imagine like you and someone else, maybe like if you ever played D&D. Imagine this is like D&D where you guys, rather than playing characters, are controlling an army of characters and you're trying to immerse yourself in the story. So think of little mini things, like we're playing this game, trying to capture these objectives. Why? Are we just doing it because it's the rules, or is it like the Ultramarines are coming because the Tyranids are trying to take over Macragge and we need to get these weapons depots, you know, or whatever you want to call your objectives, and the reasons for your modeling, like this guy. And I know I've been ranting, guys. I'll just, you know, hopefully you'll listen to this and enjoy. This guy's got a variety of bits on him from a couple of different kits, but like, what is a servo skull? I was like, it's kind of cool looking. I'm going to throw that on there, and maybe it's, I don't know, something. It just looks cool. It's one of those, like, it's a seemingly useless bit, but it looks pretty cool. He's got his little, you know, chainsword, his combi grav there, and then turn him around, boom. Also working on a veteran sergeant. He's probably not going to have a number on the front of his helmet because there's a little skull there. The other guy's was flat, but looks cool. I put this parchment here because I was like, maybe we'll do some, you know, parchment color, cream color, and do some etching, maybe like a little U on there, something from the Emperor. Anything to make him stand out and look cool. It's the extra effort that went into putting these cool little, you know, extra details. You know, just make them look cool. Modeling, have fun with it. You know, that's all I can express to you guys. And try and enjoy the painting. Some people it's a chore, but if you look at it as a leisure thing and you're bringing your soldiers to life, it's not so bad. And the same with the modeling. It's like Barbie dolls for nerds. You know, we're getting our these aren't GI Joes, but we're getting our GI Joes ready for battle, and you want them to look pretty, you know, awesome. You don't want to roll into battle, you know, looking like a ragamuffin. You want to roll in there and look like you're about to bring some death to the enemies of your faction. In this particular case, the enemies of the Imperium. So that's what you got to look at, is try and have that philosophy, and again, forge the narrative. Anyways, guys, I think this is going to bring my my little rant to a close here. I hope you enjoyed. I'd like to get a discussion going. What do you think? You know, sound off below. Let's have a discussion. Do you model your stuff and try and go for that cinematic effect, or do you think I'm full of crap? Maybe. Do you think it doesn't matter how they're painted? You know, let's get a discussion going, one way or the other. Let's get some pros and cons. Did you enjoy this video? You know, does this help you? Does it? Or did you? Does this, in some degree, inspire you to do different things? You know, or look at the modeling from a different perspective. I try and take gaming and find every facet of it. You know, there's not just, in 40K, for example, it's not just winning, not just losing, it's not just painting, not just modeling, not just hanging out. There's a totality of things here, and if any one of those falters, you're at risk of having a poor gaming experience. So I'm trying to show you guys kind of what I do to approach the other facets of the game to maximize the potential of enjoyment. Still some things that irritate me, but I'm trying to make up for some of, in my opinion, GW's faulty work with the painting and modeling to make it feel more thematic for me and not just about the rules. So again, what do you guys think? Let's sound off below and get a discussion. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to subscribe and like. If you haven't already, please also check us out on Facebook. You'll be able to stay up to date with all my current commissions and promotions. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd really like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. And as always, guys, happy wargaming.